Hi guys, my name is Ayushi and today's video is going to be a book review. What? Woo, 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 woo. Now for me, a good book is one that I remember for a really long time. And if you're like me, if you're into overthinking, then you're not going to remember the entire book. But if you take like one or two lessons from the book, I think the book shines through. So I read this book about 4 years ago and I still remember it pretty clearly. So what that tells me is it's a good book, okay? Okay, that's my parameters of how I judge. Might not be yours. But here is the book. This is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and give me mad props for making this happen because I'm such a noob at editing. Still working on it. Still working on designing where I'm supposed to sit and all that jazz. Now for this book review, I'm going to take a help of a few characters from my beloved cartoon show, Spongebob SquarePants, Mr. Krabs right here. And if you do not know the show, you had a very, very sad childhood, and I'm sorry for you, but let me just enlighten you of what Mr. Krabs is really like in the show. So he's a stingy character. He loves to save up. I think SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs had a few issues about how he was just like so stingy all the time. And he does not like to share his money. He does not like to spend his money. So his beliefs about money are a little questionable and extremely greedy. And that is something that the book highlights of how money beliefs of people shape their money habits, shape how they spend and like save up or invest in the future. Now another aspect that the book also introduces is how your father's spending habit affects you. Now there's another character in the story, obviously Pearl, who is the daughter of Mr. Krabs, but I don't know how that happened, but a crab creature had a pearl whale baby. Although the story or the storyline of SpongeBob SquarePants didn't quite dive into Pearl's spending habits, what we do know according to the book is that a lot of these spending habits of Mr. Krabs were probably transferred to Pearl as well. Now in the book, the author talks about his own upbringing and how he was brought up in an environment where money was kind of always like spiking up or going really down. It was very inconsistent, which kind of resulted in his spending habits as well, which is extremely erratic and impulsive. Now you would think that someone who has dealt with a lot of fluctuations in their life in regards to money would be more careful about money. But a very good thing that I learned from the book is that is not the case. Why not? Here's why. So let's say that you were brought up in an environment with very inconsistent money flow. So when you see something you like and you have that money, you have this incredible urge to buy it just then and there because you're scared, what if you don't have money to afford it later on? This is the reason why many people who get lottery tickets, who are broke before, end up being broke again because they don't know how to handle that money. So it is very important for us to understand our money beliefs. I read this book right around the time I was in university, and it made me open my eyes of how I was spending, because this was the first time I was getting that money, getting a budget for myself, and they were like, my parents were like, here you go, you have your budget, you have a few of your earnings, it's up to you how you spend it in this entire month. And in the beginning, when I was unfamiliar with how I was handling money and my money beliefs, I would just go and buy random stuff on like Forever 21 discount section that I never wore. So eventually it caught up to me and I realized, okay, there is a way I need to manage my money well for me to be able to basically spend in the way I want to. Now I'm not that erratic in my spending. I'm very calculative. I'm extremely cautious, and at the same time I have enough money with me that I can do different things with. Like I make sure that the money I earn is spent well in my recreational activities, in my investment. I'm currently working on my website, which I am funding myself. So it's all got to do with how you want to prioritize your spending, but that won't come until and unless you identify what is it that you need and how are you using your money beliefs in the right way. Are you impulsive? Does it have to do with how your parents were spending money? Have you taken a lot of your spending habits from